Hiya, my name is Matt, and this is my channel, Beer, Wood, Bigfoot, Ghosts, where I talk about anything that has to do with one of those four topics: beer, wood, Bigfoot, ghost. Today, we're going to talk about ghosts, the paranormal, hauntings, if you will, and one central question, which I came across the other day, made me kind of think a little bit about what hauntings are, what ghosts are all about. That question is, do ghosts age? That sounds kind of strange, and I'll get to why I'm asking that question in a minute. Let's make some assumptions up front. If you're watching this video and you want to get my take on whether ghosts age or not, you've got to first assume a couple things. One, you believe in ghosts. I obviously do, based on personal experiences, and it's part of my channel. But the another assumption you have to make, at least that I do, is that 99.99% of hauntings or ghostly activity are deceased persons, right? Occupying a space, whether that's a residence or a business or an area. Deceased persons, for whatever reason, either coming to visit or not moving on and continuing to occupy a space. Okay, that's an assumption. Another assumption you have to make is that generally it appears from a personal experience I had and from consuming a lot of paranormal content in the last 20 years, that most hauntings at locations, the people, these deceased persons that are there, these ghosts, are there because of basically two categories. I'm sure there's more, but I'm going to put them in two categories. One is that there's something about that space, that house, that business, that whatever it is, that draws them back. It's a favorite place. It's where they grew up. It's where their loved ones still remain. It's something draws them back to that location. The second one is they passed away in that location. They suffered a tragedy at that location, and they're tied to it. Okay, so you see a lot of paranormal content out there that kind of builds on those kind of hauntings. Okay, so hey, before we go any further, I'm just going to do real quick here. This is the Beer, Wood, Bigfoot, Ghost channel. So I'm going to pop a beer. What am I drinking? This is called Bone Church. You see if I can get that up there. And Bone Church is a Czech-style amber lager offered by Creature Comforts in Athens, Georgia. Let's give a quick pour. A little aroma, a little taste. Yeah, very nice. Okay, this is a paranormal one, not a beer episode. So let's get back to the topic. So every once in a while, when we kind of run out of current paranormal content on mainstream television, streaming services, YouTube, which is I'm a big fan of, a lot of the former television show personalities and or investigators moved over to YouTube. And we run out of the current content, we go back and watch old content. So my wife and I started, for probably the third time through, watching Kindred Spirits from the beginning, season 1, episode 1. Now, Kindred Spirits, if you recall that show, it ran on regular mainstream television, one channel or another, from basically 2016 through 2023. It involved Amy Bruni and Adam Berry, who were both formerly with Ghost Hunters, or the TAP investigative team. And if you watch one of my original videos I did, like second or third video I did about what paranormal shows I watch, and I recommend you watch, Kindred Spirits is one of those. So we started the series again. Season 1, episode 2 is very different in a lot of investigations that you'll see out there, in that they go to a kind of a remote location. It's a residence, it's a cabin, but it's a residence occupied by a woman and her adult daughter, and it's on 30 plus acres, so it's very remote. And the homeowner is a little concerned, and probably just more questioning than concerned, about some paranormal activity she's experiencing in the residence. So there's basically, it seems like she's got a number of things happening in her residence or just outside her residence that she describes both to Amy and Adam. And when they ask her who she thinks may be responsible, one of the things she thinks it could be is her deceased son, which would be kind of common, I guess, for someone to think that their loved one is coming back and responsible for the paranormal activity, that they're the ones responsible for the haunting, that they're coming back to occupy that space that they enjoyed in life. But the twist here is her son was 4 days old when he passed. So it doesn't say in the episode whether or not the son passed away at the home, as though she gave birth there at the home, or in a hospital setting. We have no details about that. But she explains to Amy and Adam that she thinks her son is still with her. But she also has other activity which kind of wouldn't fit that picture. And then in the episode, in my opinion, this takes a bit of a bizarre turn and brings us to that central question: do ghosts age? Okay, let's talk about the paranormal activity that the homeowner describes. I'm going to separate these out into two. So one of the things she describes is that she wakes up one night and it appears to be a child apparition standing next to the side of her bed looking at her. She kind of describes it as being short and that sort of thing. So check this audio out from her, the homeowner, describing what she encountered.
I woke up during the night and there was like a shadow person just watching me sleep. And this wasn't the size of any of my family members. It was more like a child. Just this last Saturday, I had something that kind of really freaked me out. While I'm laying there quietly, I heard footsteps start to come into the room. And I opened my eyes, and there was, like, standing next to the bed, just a small figure watching me sleep. And all of a sudden, I heard this loud, breathy sigh in my ear. The whole side of my body went ice cold.
That's really strange.
Just chills from head to toe.
Yeah, that's...
As usual, Amy and Adam, they're always trying to figure out what is responsible for a haunting in a location. So they start doing their due diligence, and they go to a local library and or historical society to do some research. And so Adam learns that on that same property, I can't remember the exact timeline, but it's like 60 to 70 years prior, there was a sawmill there. No residence, just a sawmill. And one day, a mother brings her 3-year-old daughter to visit her father and grandfather, who are running the mill, just to say hi and just to pay them a visit. And tragedy strikes. Somehow the girl runs into the saw operation, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So she passes away on premises. So if you think about it, based on what she saw, this small figure standing by the side of the bed and somebody appearing from the woods where the sawmill was located off that back side of the property, it's very possible that this young girl still occupies the space for a number of reasons. And you could draw your own conclusions. Some of the stuff that comes to the top of my mind is that she died on premises, so she remains there. And there's a play an audio clip here, which makes you believe that, like some hauntings, people don't know, deceased persons don't know what to do after they die. for whatever reason. And so check this audio out.
Are you a child? Do I know you? Are you lost?
What was that? I am lost. That's sad.
Are you lost? I
That's
am.
really sad.
It sounded female.
Do you know the last name Handcraft? Are you a little girl?
Yes.
Oh,
What is your name?
It's 2 syllables.
Lucy.
Okay. So what really brings us together for them is that when they go back and they describe to the homeowner what had happened with this young girl dying on the property, and that it could explain what she saw at the bedside and somebody staring from the woods, the homeowner recounts to Amy that there's a toy kind of power tool thing that sits out on the patio, and so for children to play with. And it's one of these plastic setups, and but it's basically got a plastic saw blade. And one day, I think it was the homeowner's daughter, saw that the blade was turning.
Have you had any other activity that might point to like a child type spirit, you think?
We did. There was a little toy Black & Decker bench here on the porch that was my grandson's. And Mary heard it making a sound. And she came out to look, and there was a little saw blade. And she said that was turning.
Now, it's outside. You could find 1,000 plausible reasons why that was happening. There was animal activity. Man, if you look around my property, we've got 1,001 squirrels that are invading our space all the time. So it's possible an animal did that, but it's also possible the wind caused that. But when you take into combination the death of this child at a sawmill, her standing next to the bed, somebody looking from the woods, and now you've got this toy saw spinning, it does appear, if you put those things together, that you could draw that conclusion that it was a young girl that responsible for that. So she occupies a space. And that's the conclusion of Amy and Adam, and they present to the homeowner. So let's go to the second part of this, which is the central question I started with, which is, do ghosts age? So again, the homeowner believes that her deceased son is still with her and in the home, and that some of the activities she's experiencing is attributed to him. When she first presents the fact that her son was deceased, I'm thinking, okay, he's anywhere from 12-year-old to 25-year-old, because the woman looks like she's in her 50s or so. And so it would not be uncommon for a loved one like that to be back occupying the space. But when you learn that it was an infant, 4 days old, 4 days, I use the other hand, these two are taped together for, I'm not going to explain that, but 4 days, it begs a question, why would a 4-day-old infant be at the property? So when Amy and Adam do a EVP session, electronic voice phenomena session, and they do this a lot of paranormal investigators do this. They use a recorder. Back in the old day, there were those little tiny mini cassette tapes and stuff, and now they're digital. And there's a wide opinion on the veracity of those recorders, right? How you can manipulate these things to make it sound like you're getting an EVP, electronic voice phenomena. So you're either a believer or not a believer. I'll let you decide. I do think, used in the right way, that it's an excellent paranormal investigative tool. And Amy and Adam do, like a lot of people do, depend on these heavily. So they do an EVP session, and let me play the audio for you on some of the questions they ask and the responses they get.
Are you related to Catherine?
No.
Why Why are you here?
Come on. What is that?
It almost sounds like Adam. Go back. He's saying Adam. Adam. It's Adam. That is Adam.
How old are you?
There's an answer.
Yeah.
Sounds like 33.
Adam would be 33.
Really?
Wait, he was born 33 years ago?
Yeah.
How old are you?
33.
33.
So, bear with me for a second. As you can see, there was actually 3 people in the room when they were doing this EVP session. It was Amy and Adam and the homeowner as well. And Amy and Adam are pretty good about this. They do this a lot. They'll bring somebody close to the property back, whether it's the existing homeowner who's reporting the haunting or paranormal activity, or it is somebody who used to work or reside there, and they bring them back in to see if their presence will actually enhance the activity, the paranormal activity. So they've got the homeowner there, and when the questions are being asked, you hear the name Adam, which was the name for her son, her 4-day-old son. And then you hear the second answer, which is 33. And this is what brings us back to the central question, do ghosts age? Because according to the homeowner, her son would have been, based on how many years he's been deceased, 33 at the time that they did this investigative work at her residence. And that absolutely just blows my mind. Blows my mind. So what we're suggesting here, or I should say kindred spirits, and through this episode are suggesting, is that her 4-day-old son, after his passing, continued to occupy the space, or would come back in and out of the space, and aged from 4 days old to 33. So he's an intelligent haunting in that particular space, occupying that space, who had aged throughout the years from 4 days old to 33. I can't for the life of me remember any content, any show, any investigative result that I've seen in my 20 plus years consuming paranormal content, anything like this. I can't. I've never seen it before. You could, again, blows my mind. You can go in a whole nother direction with this, and I'm not going to, because at the end of the day, at least how it's presented in the episode, the homeowner, the mother, is content with both the results they provided and with the idea that her son is still with her. She's not scared. She's not frightened. She's not upset in any way. In fact, she goes on in the episode to kind of open up her house for the 3-year-old girl who had passed at the sawmill to say, hey, it's okay for you to be here, right? It's absolutely okay for you to be here. And she seems to be emotionally good with all this, which I think is always the intended result that Amy and Adam are looking for during their investigations, at least in the first few seasons. I know later on they went to do the big, giant, haunted former asylum and, tuberculosis centers and all that sort of stuff, hospitals, what have you. A lot of people do. But in the early days, their intent was always to come along and help a homeowner understand what was happening in their residence or in their space. So I think, all in all, this looks like a success for them and how they were able to present the evidence to her and the fact that she was satisfied with what was going on. So this, again, blows my mind, because my normal assumption is that the hauntings that take place in a location are done by deceased persons who are held fast in time. What I mean by that is, let's say they're 83 years old, they pass away, just natural causes in a residence, and now new homeowners are there and they have all this experience, and you identify that's who it is. That's still an 83-year-old person, right? So I'll give you an example of that. So I was watching Travel the Dead with Katrina Weidman and Heather Taddy. And again, if you go back to my early YouTube videos, you can talk about that's one of the things that I recommended you watch. They've been on a number of shows over the years on regular television. Now they have this Travel the Dead YouTube channel. It's actually, I think it's under Katrina Weidman's name, but that's the name of the show, Travel the Dead, and it's phenomenal. They almost give you the experience as the watcher that you're there with them on that investigation, because it's got very little production value. It's like you're sitting in the dark with them with a night vision camera and experiencing what they experience, which I appreciate on a lot of levels. But they did a recent investigation, which you can check out. It's at a Masonic lodge, a Freemason lodge. And one of the witnesses that describes her paranormal experiences at this very large old lodge is she describes two different older gentlemen that she sees in formal wear, which is something that the Masonic or Freemason members would do from when they had ceremonies and otherwise. They would wear formal wear like tuxedos, that sort of stuff, even long tails. And she sees them in what is described as a non-vaporous, full-body apparition, like a person sitting there, or a person standing there, or a person walking. Like you and I walk around a space, that's what she's describing. And because they're older gentlemen and they're wearing their formal wear, it seems as though if they're intelligent hauntings, which this particular episode kind of gives you that impression because of how the witness describes her interaction with one of them, that it actually engaged her and smiled at her, that sort of thing, that they're captured in time as 68-year-olds. Whether it's today or 5 years ago or 15 years from now, they're still 68-year-olds, which they were at the time of death, occupying that space. So every haunting that I've ever seen presented on these different shows and this different content streaming is just that. And this is the first time I've ever seen anything where it's presented to you that someone aged over the years as part of this haunting. So, hey, I don't know what you think about this. Leave comments below and I'll do my best to get back to you. Please like this video and subscribe. I'm supposed to say that I'm a YouTuber, but actually I want to see how many people are watching this thing, and I do invite your comments so you answer the question. Give me your opinion in the comments section. Do you think ghosts age? That's all I got for you people. Hey, if you're ever in Athens, Georgia, try Bone Church over at Creature Comforts, or in Los Angeles. They've got a second tap room and brewery operation there. Kind of strange, right? I think it has something to do with the Marvel Universe, filming in Atlanta/Athens, and producers, directors being from Los Angeles, that sort of thing. But if you're ever in Athens, stop into Creature Comforts. They've got an incredible brewery, great people, and phenomenal beer. So check them out, all right? Again, my name is Matt. This is my channel, Beer, Wood, Bigfoot Ghosts, or BWBG Life. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, ya.